Here are 5 ways to transform from a beta to an alpha male. These 5 shifts are getting into the essence of what it really takes to change your identity. These are deep, permanent solutions. They are not band aids, they are not surface solutions. So if you're looking for just quick tips to feel a little bit better, I encourage you to look elsewhere. In this video, we're going to get real, and I'm going to share with you 5 proven ways to shift your identity in a way that lasts and is permanent. Now, before I get into these shifts, I want to reassure you, you can do this. You can make this shift from a beta to an alpha. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck feeling like a beta. It doesn't matter how much evidence is stacked up in your reality that you are indeed a beta, or how much life seems to reflect back to you limiting beliefs in this way. There's this field of psychology or in science called neuroplasticity, which basically means that the brain is changeable, it is malleable. We can shape ourselves, shift ourselves into whatever we truly desire. It is not solid. Your identity is fluid. All the great Eastern religious spiritual traditions throughout history have known this, that who we really are is an infinite field of possibility. There are no real limits. They're all self-imposed in this way. So whatever your experience has been, you're watching this video for a reason. Number 1 is to create a compelling vision for your identity. Most men skip over this crucial part. They don't really know in their heart who they want to be. They just know who they don't want to be. They know what's not working for them. But have you ever just sat down and from your heart brainstormed and done a brain dump of just getting it out of you? What do you really want in your life? Who do you really want to be? What feels authentic to you? What alpha qualities would you love to have, to embody, to express to the world that you feel like you are not right now? Make sure you write these qualities down. What attributes are deficient or missing inside of you right now? So I encourage you to spend at least 10 minutes on this exercise. You're not allowed to think about it. You're not allowed to overanalyze it. You're literally writing in a free association way where you're just pouring it out onto paper what you really want in your life, who you really want to be. And you're allowing yourself to do this without limits, without judgment, or without being latched onto your past identity and saying, no, 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 that can never happen for me. Just give yourself permission to write. Who do you really want to be? What does being an alpha look like to you? It's a little bit different for every man. There are universal qualities of being an alpha man, of course, like confidence and charm and not being attached to outcomes and not giving a damn what people think about you, being clear in your purpose. But it's going to be a little bit different, a little nuanced for you based on who you uniquely are. So make sure you get really deeply acquainted with this vision. Who do you want to be? This is always step number 1. Most men, like I said, skip over this and they're kind of shooting in the dark. They don't really know what they want. Number 2 is to surrender to who you are right now. This is also a crucial step that most men skip over. What most men do is try to make these kinds of changes from a place of judgment and resistance. So they're looking at their current situation and who they are, and they're saying, I really can't stand myself. I really don't like being a beta male. I don't like that women ignore me, or that I get pushed around in life, or that I come in last because I'm a nice guy. So all of these qualities that you don't like inside of yourself, it's completely understandable why you'd want to change them from a place of not accepting them, of resisting them. However, you've heard the old adage, what you resist persists in life. And that's what we're getting at here. True transformation comes from non-resistance. It comes from dropping our attachment to our current situation being an actual problem. Who you are right now is who you're meant to be right now. However, that can change. There's nothing wrong with being a beta male in an ultimate sense. There's nothing you need to judge about that. It's just probably been your life experience. It's been part of your unique story to this point. So instead of trying to make these changes from a place of lack, deficiency, neediness, I need to be better than I am right now, see if you can drop all that. See if you can allow yourself to be exactly who you are and to accept it. And in a sense, I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but this is super important. You need to learn how to love your deficiencies, the weak links, the parts of your identity that feel unworkable or just like they're not They're not giving you what you want in your life. Those parts of your identity have been there for a reason. They're coming from an intelligent place. They've been designed into your unique story for a reason, and that reason is to help you shift out of being a victim in your life or a beta male into the hero of your life or an alpha male. So, this is a big subject, and I can only hint at it right now. But I encourage you to identify all the judgments, all the self defeating mechanisms inside of you, the ways that you self sabotage, the ways that you feel completely frustrated and hopeless about this pattern, and allow yourself to feel all of that without judging it. That is the entry point into true change. Number three is to imagine already being an alpha male. Now, you can only really do this in a powerful way through the portal of number two, which is surrender. You can't use the power of your imagination from a place of resistance, from a place of hating who you are right now. Hating who you are right now is beta behavior. Loving who you are right now, accepting who you are right now is alpha behavior. So we want to get that entry point established right away, that you're going to imagine your new identity from a place of surrender, of non-resistance, of love and acceptance. Now, go back to your vision that you wrote down in step number one. And I want you to play around, experiment with this exercise of imagining already being that. So you've written down all these qualities, these attributes that you want to develop in yourself that you feel are missing. You have some sort of inner clarity now about what it means for you to be an alpha male. The best way to cross that bridge, to close that gap, is to use the power of your mind to see yourself as already that. And many teachers throughout history have called this something along the lines of living in the end. Living in the end. What is the end point that you're looking for? What is the result, the ideal outcome that you want to see? And then it's training your mind, your nervous system to identify with that as if it's here already. So, what would it feel like if you already were a fully expressed alpha male? What would that feel like for you? How would you carry yourself in time and space? What sort of clothes would you wear? How would you talk? How would you relate with others? How would you prepare your lunch? So, you're starting to get acquainted with this new identity in your current reality. And the only way to do that is through the power of your imagination. So, some people feel like this exercise is difficult for them because men tend to be so logical and rational, and our intellect can get in the way of this exercise. It feels like it doesn't have a lot of power behind it because we're so trapped in our thinking mind. You have to be willing to suspend that for a time being and allow yourself to go to a different place in your consciousness where your imagination and its power can come alive. Albert Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. And this is what he meant. When you know how to use your imagination constructively, it is the number one tool you have to shift your identity and to create the life that you want. Most of us, however, are using our imagination in a way that causes more harm than good. We imagine ourselves being a beta male. We imagine ourselves failing with women. We imagine ourselves not being as successful as we want in work and life. So if you're worrying a lot, if you have depression, if you feel bad about yourself, your imagination is essentially working against you. And what you want to train yourself to do is get your mind to be an ally, not an enemy in this process. So you have to start prying open the power of your imagination and seeing yourself as already that. So in a metaphysical sense, everything that you want is already here now. There's nothing missing. And in another reality, a parallel reality, you could say, your ideal alpha male self is already there, just waiting to be tapped into and embodied. So from this ultimate point of view, nothing is actually missing in your experience. And you can very much use the power of your mind to align with this way of seeing. There's a natural abundance in who you already are. And all you're doing is shifting your energetic configuration into this ideal identity that you want to create. This is all done through the power of imagination, not through the rational mind. Number 4 is to act as if. Act as if you're already that. So you start acting in your daily life as if this is already the case. I call this character acting. Character acting is being willing to assume a role, assume that your identity is fluid, assume that all of your behaviors are fluid, they're open, they're subject to change. So A lot of people, once again, feel like this is kind of contrived or it doesn't feel genuine when they start acting as if. And that's because they assume that their current identity is real. That's the real them. And acting as if is just acting. It's just fake. It's just contrived. But in reality, you being a beta male is also acting. You're not really a beta male in your core identity. It's just a role that you have assumed in this life. It's just been part of your story. So you have to realize, however you're acting in this life is all essentially made up. We're all playing roles all the time. We're all partaking in this grand illusion of being a self and contributing to society based on various roles. You get to choose which role you want. Do you want to fundamentally be more beta or alpha? The whole thing is steeped in illusion. It's all play from a higher point of view. So this is why it's not really acting in a sense. It's not a negative thing. It's just that you're acquainting yourself with this new identity. So you have to realize that your brain is wired to resist change. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. And if you're stuck in beta male behavior, what that means is that your limbic system, the reptilian part of your brain that is designed to keep you safe, is pulling off some very clever ways of doing this. And what it mainly does is tell stories about you and judgments that keep you locked into what's known, into what's certain. So when you act as if, you're training your brain to bypass that typical need and attachment for safety and instead play around with it. Have some space around this. Start shifting your identity in a way that doesn't feel just threatening to your normal sense of self and to the sense of certainty that we're all looking for in life. So you have to understand that your brain, once again, is kicking out clever stories all the time that you think are real. They think that it's you in there doing that. And that's what's keeping you locked into beta behavior. When you start acting as if and living in the end and assuming that that's real, you're training your nervous system to be cool with change. You're training your brain to be okay with uncertainty because shifting into this new identity is uncertain. It will put you into some unknown territory, and you're going to notice there's some resistance to that. There's some fear around that that kicks in. And that's why most of us have a very hard time changing. So the best way to overcome that, once again, is to have fun with this. Tell your brain and show your brain it's okay to change. Change is safe. Uncertainty is safe. And I'm willing to explore new dimensions of who I am as a result. Number 5 is to repeat this practice daily with zero attachment to results. So you have your compelling vision in front of you of who you want to be. That can also change. And you may want to revisit that like once a month because our sense of self changes. Our core values do shift and evolve over time. However, this core practice of surrendering to your current reality, then imagining who you want to be as if it's here now, and then acting as if, choosing behaviors and action steps in life that align with that, that is a practice that you can use repeatedly in your daily life for as long as you live. It's one of the most powerful practices you have to shift your identity at a core level and make it work, have it actually be powerful. The key here is to not have attachment to results. Men tend to be very, very attached to results. They want to know quickly, is this working? Is it not working? And we tend to suffocate the progress we can make because, once again, our thinking mind is getting in the way. So if your brain resists change, a clever mechanism it's going to kick out to prevent change is being attached to the outcomes, suffocating the results. And you have to realize that's, once again, just part of your old identity that is resisting change. So do this practice from a place of space, non-attachment, having fun with it, and not caring too much in the immediate sense what it's doing. Is it working? Is it not working? Just do it and give yourself a very spacious timeline, 6 months, 12 months, instead of you try it once or twice or 3 times, and then you're like, well, it didn't work for me, so on to the next thing. What we're getting at here is how you shift at a very, very deep level and make these shifts permanent in your identity. And that is designed to take time. It is not designed to happen overnight. So if you're somebody who gets very attached to results, I encourage you to really, for the first time ever, have the courage to see through that and just continue with this practice in faith that eventually it's inevitable that it will shift your identity. It's really science and it's proven. It's worked for me. It's worked for many, many, many of my clients over the years, and it can work for you too. Just keep going, keep practicing. And if you need support, be sure to subscribe to this channel because what we're talking about on this channel is quite different than a lot of the typical dating tips out there for nice guys. And hopefully that's come through in this video. So, a lot of the videos you'll see on this channel are going to support this very theme of shifting your core identity and getting you to a place where you can genuinely identify with being an alpha male. If that's what you're looking for, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment below with your biggest takeaway from this video, and I will see you in the next one.